Welcome back to the Something in the Wilderness podcast. We wanted to spotlight an artist that's performing on the Holiday from Real cruise next week. So think of this as a get to know you for Andrew fans. Especially relevant because the band we're talking to today has been talked about on this podcast before, specifically when they featured Andrew McMahon on a song 2 years ago, and we covered that song. Also relevant because this is a rock band featuring a piano. I learned about the band when they were on the bill for the Bunbury Music Festival in summer 2019, and I always like to sneak preview the artist before I go to festivals. So I came across Jukebox the Ghost music, their latest album in particular, Off to the Races at the time, and I fell in love with their new album. So I was pretty hooked from there. So I want to introduce the guys. Thank you, Tommy, Ben, Jesse, for joining me tonight.
Yeah, our pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for having us. Yeah, we're stoked.
Very excited to have you guys. Welcome. So just a quick introduction of each member. So Ben plays the piano and sings lead vocals sometimes, and Tommy plays guitars and sings lead vocals sometimes, and then Jesse plays the drums and also sings lead vocals sometimes. Is that right, Jesse? Do I have that right?
You have that right.
Yeah.
I sing the least amount, but I do sing lead vocals sometimes.
Yeah.
So you nailed it.
Yeah, I've heard a couple of those songs and seen you guys live, so which we will definitely get to. So some more fun facts about these guys, and guys, please feel free to correct me on anything that I've missed here or anything that's not accurate. The three members met while attending George Washington University in Washington, D.C. in the early 2000s, and they decided to form a band. And they've since released 6 full-length albums, have gone on tour all across the United States, many times over the last 20 years. And I've been fortunate to see the band twice. As I mentioned, I saw them at Bunbury 2019 in Cincinnati, Ohio. And then I got to see them last year in Columbus, Ohio, April 2023. And that was specifically based on a recommendation from my friend Chantel. We were talking about your band on the podcast, and she was like, oh, they're coming to Columbus. You have to go see them. And I was like, I have to go see them. So I bought a ticket and I loved it. So I've been able to see you guys twice. That was promoting the Cheers album. And the band is also known among their fan base to play an all-Queen cover set some years, right around Halloween time. And also, they also have a podcast called Famish. So I thought, why not invite them onto this podcast? Famish you can find on Spotify, and it's a lovely listen, I gotta say. It's like listening to a bunch of friends chat and hang out. So it's a lot of fun.
It's total chaos. It's absolute chaos.
Yeah.
We'll come back to it, but no, you're being very professional here, and that is not us on our podcast. So I'm taking notes here.
We're also in character when you said we're friends. That's a bit.
Oh,
It's a bit.
I
It's a
did,
20-year bit.
I did wonder. I'm like, wow, these guys, they gel so well together. I wonder how much of this is just,
It's showbiz, man. It's an act.
Yeah. You got to do it for the show,
Podcast showbiz.
All right, love it. So you guys have been on tour this past month, and so I know you've had a very busy schedule, and I truly appreciate your time spending here with me tonight. My kids had trick or treat tonight, so that's what I just finished up like a half hour ago. So we've had a busy night here, but you guys have had a very busy month with a tour. So how did it go?
It went really well. We were the first 3 weeks was out supporting this great band called Lawrence. If you don't know Lawrence, go listen to them. They're fantastic. And then we had a week and a half of cleanup, including our first ever. By cleanup, I mean we're getting back to the East Coast with headline shows. We played our first ever Las Vegas show, and it may be our last ever Las Vegas show.
There's got to be a story there. What happened?
There really isn't. It's just it's hard. We've been a band for 20 years, and if that's the going rate of one show every 20 years. Well, I don't know if our friendship can take it.
I don't know if people might not know this. I feel like Vegas has maybe I would compare this culturally to Miami in the sense that it is a very big city, and it's maybe not if you're going to Vegas, you're not going to go to an indie rock club.
Probably not.
You're going to go clubbing and be entertained and do the thing. So we weren't expecting a Hallmark show in Vegas, and we were correct. But we did have fun.
We had a good time. It was a special show, but
fun show, and we got to see a magic show and in Vegas. That was very exciting. Piff the Magic Dragon, shout out.
Oh, very cool. I
Yeah.
saw a Cirque du Soleil type show when I was there a few years back, but ironically, based on what you said, I went there specifically for concerts a year ago. I'm sure you've heard of the When We Were Young festival,
Oh
and
yeah.
I went there last year for that fest, and Something Corporate, Andrew's first band, did a side show there. And so I was specifically there for concerts, but I do agree. Usually, you don't go to Vegas specifically to go see shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that
It's
that
more the indie rock club scene. I don't know how, a festival's, that's
little
a
different.
bigger
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
You
But
go to
Yeah.
lose money and to see a magician with a chihuahua.
there we go.
I hope you guys made enough money at least to go see the magician. So,
Yeah, we covered it. Yeah.
oh, that's
we were
awesome.
okay.
Oh,
It was a
I'm
wash.
so glad.
Yeah.
All right. I did take a peek on Setlist FM, which I actually usually don't do. I don't like to spoil set lists ahead of time usually, but I did take a peek for the purpose of this conversation. I saw you guys are really mixing it up on this last tour. You're playing stuff from every album, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Do we sneak in a song from every record?
I think we did. Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Did we?
We're not promoting a new record yet, so we're in that interesting liminal zone between albums where you kind of get to do whatever you want, and your manager's fine with that, and the audience is fine with it too. So
That's great. No, I love it myself. I love a good mix of old and new. So was it intentional then? It doesn't sound like it was intentional to mix something from every album then. It was just kind of like, here's what we want to play right now.
We usually try to. I'd say it's more when we don't have something from a record, it's more of an accident.
Uh-huh.
Tommy's our resident, like he's keeping track of these things. And so yeah, normally we try to most records is somebody's favorite and some records get more love than others. And I think on this one especially cuz when you have a new album, you got to lean heavy on that, but then you still got to play the hits and we wanted to make sure for the people that were coming back for the second time on this album cycle, like they got a different show than they did the first time. So,
Oh, that's fair.
maybe farther back.
And
Yeah.
the middle records are a little bit. I feel like they're the middle child right now. It's like the early stuff we really like playing, and then we got to promote our newer stuff. The middle records right now they're a little bit like a middle child. Like you can leave them at a Marshalls and
I figured it out.
no one will notice for a while.
For a while, and you can pick them up a couple shows later, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sometimes whole tours go by.
And they still haven't been picked up.
They're still at Marshall's.
Oh yeah, I left what's his name at a Marshalls like months ago.
Safe travels.
No, my child. What's his name?
Neil, I think it was.
An actual child. I noticed that there's no Halloween dates on the tour this year, or on the schedule this year, and I know that for a fact, especially because we're recording here on October 30th. So this would be the time of year. So, but usually you guys do Halloween a lot of the years. I actually had a ticket to the show in 2021 in Columbus. But had to give it up, and I ended up instead buying the live stream to watch out of Chicago. So I really enjoyed the show from home, but I was not feeling well and didn't think it was a good idea to come to your show in
Appreciate it.
2021. But did buy a ticket, did buy the live stream. Tell us more about that. So Halloween. So for people who don't realize what that is.
It's a big thing. So it started as sort of an accident. We learned a bunch of songs for a friend's wedding, and then the next year for Halloween we did like a covers night just for fun. And then I think Jesse had the name first. He's like Halloween. We should do that's a thing. We should do that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, we should
And-
dress up as Queen and be Queen. I mean,
Yeah.
that was pretty much it. And
That was it.
I think 2015 was the first year that we did it. So we are skipping this year, as you said, and I miss it, I have to say. But we've been doing it for a long time now, and it is a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. And it's also kind of taken on a life of its own. So, if someone is coming and doesn't really know us, we do a set of our music first. We do about an hour set of ours. And then we go off stage. There's a costume contest. There's a whole thing. It's a ridiculous party. And then come out dressed as Queen. This is a podcast, but I have a beard and I shave it, but leave the mustache. It only works for one show. But I do that the first show. And then we do a full set of Queen tunes. And it's so much fun. And over the last 9 years, it's kind of taken on a life of its own. And the shows keep getting bigger, and it's like a marquee thing that we get to do. And the way this tour shook out this fall, this September, October, everyone thought it was an idea just to take a year off, build a little more hype for next year, and come out of the gate swinging.
Well, I got my fingers crossed for another Columbus show.
At least you're not, at least you're not in Vegas. You know, it could happen.
That's true because it sounds like it's not coming to Vegas. Sorry, Vegas. There's also a costume party I remember, and I saw this on the live stream. So people came in dressed up, right? So you guys dress up as Queen, but other people dress up for Halloween, right?
Yeah, it's a full. My favorite ever was there's a girl in a fish costume, and some of these costumes are like elaborate. I mean, like
Mm-hmm.
hours and hours and days spent on it, and multi-person, narrative. Like one year there's the Demogorgon from Stranger Things, and then
Jeez.
there's and it was good. It looked like
Yeah.
the thing, and then there's this girl in just a fish costume, and for some reason the crowd got excited about it, and it wasn't a good costume. It's just like a $50 thing you buy on Amazon, but the crowd couldn't be stopped, and the whole time it was just fish, 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 and it was just like this. She won. She took the costume contest, got a signed poster and global fame and fortune.
Wow. So all for the $50 fish, huh?
Yeah,
So you guys do have some dates though coming up. 3 albums, 3 nights in January. I think in February maybe coming up. Austin, Minneapolis, and LA. Is that right?
I think it's January, February, and March. Actually, they're spread out.
Austin, Minneapolis, LA, and Seattle.
Seattle.
Oh,
In
Seattle. I
Seattle.
miss Seattle. Can't miss Seattle. That's so you guys are gonna be there like a resident, like a mini residency, right? You guys have done this before. I saw earlier this year, I think.
Yeah, it's really fun. We do like basically each night is centered around one of our first 3 albums, but obviously that's not enough music for a whole show. So we also throw in music from our other records, but it's a no repeat 3 night run. So it's what's been really fun about it is the majority of the crowd seems to come all so far for the ones we've done comes all 3 nights. So it gives this like it does feel like everybody's in it together in this
Uh-huh.
weird marathon where you can feel the energy kind of ride in the same way where like the last night during the last 40 minutes of the show people are just like more amped than they've been the entire run like
Uh-huh.
just in the same way that if you're ending a marathon
Oh, I love that.
it's just also just a really fun opportunity for us to like you're talking about spicing up the set list. I mean, I think it's given us a lot more confidence that people actually know our catalog.
Hmm.
Whereas I think before we were very conscious to feel like we were always anchoring on our greatest hits, so to speak. And yeah, it's just nice to know that people do know the deep cuts, and it's given us more liberty to kind of play whatever we want.
Yeah. Well, ironically, I'm a newer fan, so I'm not nearly as familiar with the those 3 albums that you guys are playing. I came in and off to the races. Got really into Cheers as well, and then your latest stuff I've been really digging. In fact, I Feel So Good is kind of my go-to get pumped for the cruise right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, super excited. And then you guys just dropped a song last Friday, Truth.
we did.
I love that one too.
That's been we've been sitting on it for a while, and just I don't know. We're in this space right now. We're about to come out with a new record and have a whole blitz, and we have a lot of really exciting material and songs and things and like worlds that we're putting together. And our sort of philosophy over the last year has just been, let's just put out songs, like let's not be too precious about it.
Hmm.
We have all this music, we want people to hear it. We've been having a lot of fun just putting it out into the world.
Yeah, and I've been loving it all. So I like in my humble opinion, I feel like you guys are getting better. Like you guys are, knocking it out of the park these last 2.5 albums, especially since I've come in the fan base, and I have gone back and I've listened to the older albums too. But again, not nearly as familiar as the new stuff.
That's awesome.
I'm loving
Thanks.
it. Yeah.
Well,
So like,
please, we're here. Tell us if we're getting worse. If it's constructive criticism is always appreciated.
No, we can hear that. We can hear that anywhere. But
Yeah,
this,
yeah,
you could just read comments on YouTube
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
Instagram, and I'm sure you'll find it. I mean,
people, there's
it's
nothing people like to say more than the band used to be better.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah, everybody has that, right? Has that
Yeah.
that
This is why Andrew keeps starting new bands because he's like right when they get to that point, he's like, you know what? Let's do a new thing.
yeah, yeah, that one doesn't exist anymore, and then come back 20 years later and do a reunion tour, and yeah, that's apparently is working for him.
I asked him once. I was like, how do you keep doing this? And he said, I have no idea. He's like, I don't know. I don't know why it keeps working. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's great, man.
Yeah, people are coming along for it. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the cruise as we go on here. Can we expect to hear some of those new songs next week on the cruise then?
What's funny
Great
is
question.
Uh, no, maybe a couple. I was laughing because it's been a discussion of ours that we actually don't have live arrangements yet for a lot of the songs because a problem that we run into as a trio is that we get real excited in the studio. We can all play multiple instruments and we
Hmm.
produce the heck out of a track. And then we actually sit down, the three of us, to try and play it live. And it doesn't sound quite right because it's missing all the things because it's only three of us. So,
It
but
always
we,
it
we
takes us
know
a
how to play a
minute,
couple of them. We know how to play a
but
couple.
it takes us a while to like figure out what those arrangements are.
Yeah.
And you said you have kids. I have a 9-month old,
Hmm.
so this year has been a little busier for me
Oh, I bet.
than in past years. Yeah, we went right into tour, and there were sound checks. We were trying to learn some of the tunes and figure it out, but we never got to a place where like, yeah, this is ready to be played in front of real people. It's possible though.
It's so fascinating to me, and I've heard that from other musicians as well. You know, you get in the studio and you put these things together, and it sounds great, and we love it. You know, when we're listening back, but then you have to figure out how to play this song on stage. And you brought up an interesting point. You guys each play multiple instruments, and there's only three of you, right? So, and I've seen you guys in concert. There's only three of you on stage. So yeah, that's an interesting problem to solve.
Well, I mean, think of it like a movie, you know, like the album is like our movie. So it'd be like trying to turn your movie into a play. So
Hmm.
like some movies that works, but if you're making I don't know, Doctor Strange 3 or something like that might not work very well as a play.
Right, that's true.
Also, Ben doing his own vocal overdubs to create a stack is one thing, but then like there's only one Ben, so teaching the drummer the harmony that takes about a month
And a lot of drummer treats. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
you
a
gotta
lot of
keep
drummer
slipping him.
treats.
Gotta keep slipping him Reese's, or else he gets so mad.
I know all about that. I have a puppy at home, so
Yeah,
she just you just gotta keep giving him treats to.
drummers and puppies. It's always like which one is gonna get potty trained first, you know?
Woof.
Like,
But I did hear on your famous podcast that and I think it was Jesse that said it a while back on the show, and I'm paraphrasing here, that you guys feel like maybe a live band first, and recording music is something you do with that.
I think that's what we are best at. We have a studio now that we can work in and record. So we've been getting better at that, having more fun with it, and as a band are getting to be a better like studio band as a trio. But I think ultimately, if you want the Jukebox the Ghost experience, you got to come see us live.
I love that because we're gonna have, I think, 3 opportunities on this boat to see you guys live.
I think that's right.
I know. I just found out I thought there were two for some reason. Three guys. We gotta brush up some songs.
Not everyone comes to every show, though. You know?
But they're trapped on a boat. They might.
Yeah,
You might get those people like your 3 album, 3 night people that want to come to every single one.
that's true.
We're sure as heck going to try. My wife and I are big fans. But yeah, there are conflicts. So that's why I'm very well aware that you guys have 3 sets, because you have to look at the schedule and strategize, and you have to figure out, oh my gosh, if I go there, I got to miss this. And what do I do? Do I catch half their set? And I think one of the Dear Jack events might be like overlap with one of your sets. And it's just like,
Classic Andrew just trying to steal our thunder, you know? Freaking charities, man.
purposefully, I'm sure. So speaking of Andrew, let's talk about Andrew for a bit. So how did you guys originally meet Andrew McMahon?
Well, it was touring with Jack's Mannequin. We did a pretty long, at least a few weeks, right? And maybe a month with Jack's Mannequin
It may
back
have been
in
longer than that. It was long enough.
2011.
2011. Yeah, it was Alan Stone, and then it was us, and then it was Jax, and it's just a great hang and a big long tour. That was it, you know. And in the way of tour, like it was like summer camp. So by the end of it, we're all good pals.
That's amazing. So you guys are you excited to be back in a place where you're going to be hanging out with them for 4 days then?
Oh
Very much. You know, I've seen Andrew a bunch.
Yeah, we haven't seen anybody else from Jack's Mannequin in a long time, right?
Bobby is occasionally bartends at a place where me and my soccer guys hang out. So I've
Oh,
seen him
cool.
like twice. Like he's just like he'll just like fill in. He'll have Sunday night. So I saw him and we had like a I know you moment. And then I don't know, we've done little shows throughout, but no, for the most part, aside from like, you know, and we can get to Wasted, the song with Andrew, but like,
Definitely.
you know, when we wrote that, we obviously were hanging out. So I don't know. I see Andrew probably more than these guys do just from LA trips and stuff, but
Mhm.
every couple of years.
Well,
Yeah.
I can tell you exactly why I didn't know that you toured with Jack's Mannequin. You said 2011, and that's like 2011, 12, 13. So you can imagine when my kids were born.
Yep.
Blank spot in my memory for all things other than kids and family. So I applaud you, Ben, for being able to handle the career of traveling and making music, because I couldn't even get out to shows at that time. So
I think it's different. It's my livelihood. So
That's true.
there's like, guys got to work and they got to feed the kid.
Yeah,
So I have an excuse, you know.
fair
Well, and
enough.
your son is crate trained as well, which helps.
And he's crate trained. Jesse, take note, buddy.
Yeah,
But it's not like we're going out. It's just the thing I get to do is go on tour
Right.
sometimes. Yeah.
That's your going out is going to work
Yep.
in a
Yep.
sense. Let's talk about the collaboration of Wasted. So a couple of years back, so I saw you get on a live stream with Andrew, and I think and from my memory, I think we knew it was coming as fans, and we heard there was going to be a song with the both of you together coming for your next album, and you guys got on a public live stream and talked about it. So that's how I first found out, and it was
Cool.
so exciting to see those two worlds coming together. So how did that come together?
So he and I did a write, and if people don't know how like co-writes work, it's a big thing in L.A., Nashville, somewhat in New York, but not as popular. But you just meet up with either a buddy or people you don't know. You get together, you grab a coffee, you start talking, you write a song, you disappear 4 hours later, and it's like a real. I don't know. It's like there's a little engine to it, a little machine to it. And at that time, I was going out to LA and doing a bunch of writes, and I don't know. I can't remember whose idea it was or how it happened, but it was just this like, wait, why haven't we tried to write together? And so, Andrew and I and this great producer writer named Brian Phillips all got together and just started writing. And this is the song that came out. Originally, Andrew wasn't singing on it. So we were writing it for Jukebox. And then when we were in the studio, I had these voice memos and I had his voice so like firmly in my head for that second verse. I feel like the way it's delivered is quintessentially Andrew. There's just something about it. Whenever I sang it, or I think Tommy tried to sing it, we're like, this doesn't feel like the thing. And so then, we talked to him and he was down to sing it and down to do the music video. And it all just happened very organically. Hanging out, wrote a song together. We liked the song. Everyone wanted to sing on it. And now here we are with this song in the world.
And as a Jukebox fan, what's especially interesting is that, as far as I know, you guys don't have any other featured artists on songs on your albums, do you?
I don't, I think you might be the only one.
Oh yeah, he is. I mean, we put out an EP with Jenny Owen Young's like I don't know,
15
15
years
years
ago.
ago, but it's kind of before people started doing collab singles and stuff. So I don't even know if
Okay.
that counts.
I don't know about that one, but why is that on? So can I find that somewhere, or is that
It is deep. It is deep in there. But
okay?
if you
It's
can,
like one
it
of those
can be
ones where you look it up on Spotify and click on singles, and then you go way back and there's an EP that's like the Jenny Jukebox EP or something.
Wow. All right. So
Yeah.
there's some things I've missed.
we covered
Apparently.
each other's songs before a tour and then went on a tour. And then this is 2008, maybe 8, 9. Like it's back in the day.
oh yeah.
But no, Andrew, yeah, it was the first time. I don't know. You got to really trust somebody to put them on your song. And I think Tom and I both write for our voices. And I don't know. It's surprising it hasn't happened. We're talking about doing more, but it's got to feel right.
Oh yeah.
And for him, it always felt like it served the song, and he wrote the song with me, so it's like everyone felt good about it.
So I've been on a couple of rock boats, which I definitely want to talk to you guys about too. And sometimes what happens on these cruises is that there's a chance for collaborations for people to get on stage together. And the obvious thinking behind someone who's a Jukebox and an Andrew fan would be to hope that you guys can get on stage and do that song together. You don't have to tell me if there's any plans for that, but I am hopeful for that, and I know other people are too. It's just having you guys in the same place again is going to be amazing. And I would love to see you guys tour together again. And I'm sure you guys would like that too.
I'm literally texting him right now.
I didn't want to say anything, but after you said that, I was like, that's so dumb that we haven't talked about that.
I know.
Because obviously,
I know we should
that'd
be
so
leaving it
fun.
mysterious, but like stuff for this cruise.
Somehow we didn't think about
This
it.
is me texting Andrew. Stuff for this.
I think in my
cruise.
head, I was just like, well, he's got
Sure
3
you
bands. He's gonna be too
want
busy,
to.
but maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think we subconsciously were like, way too busy. He has 10 bands playing this boat.
Well,
Three, 10.
this is my plea. It sounds like these three guys are on board. Andrew McMahon, let's do Wasted on the Boat. Let's
Yeah,
hear it.
stop
So,
everything. Listen to this episode. Ignore your texts from Ben. Let this be the ask.
yeah,
There
yep,
you go.
yep. So now you've heard it from multiple places. All right. Yeah, so you've already answered my next question. Why Andrew? Why now? I mean, it was just it was natural. It was in the timing. It just kind of came together. I love that. I love hearing that though. Let's talk a little bit about songwriting and musical style just a little bit. Again, this is just kind of an introduction to other fans about who Jukebox the Ghost is, whether they know you guys or not. So what artists would you say influence you creatively?
This is one of you're asking a thing that's gonna. It's so messy.
We're kind of all over the place, like as
I have
individuals.
heard that.
Yeah.
I would say that where we find inspiration is actually like where we can find common ground
Hmm.
together and how we can bring our influences to the other people in a way that they don't even recognize the influence. So it becomes something new. Ben might bring something very like classical to Jesse and I, but like we're not classical musicians. So
Right.
no matter what happens, it's not going to sound like classical music. And I might bring something that's like kind of, fishy or jammy or something, and it's not going to sound like that on the way out. So we all kind of bring our different influences to the table, and I think we all can kind of agree on what is Jukebox the Ghost and creating our own little world that
Hmm.
is like the Venn diagram of the three of us.
I can't really categorize you, and I'm not going to try to. It's music, it's Jukebox the Ghost, and it's all different kinds of things.
What's funny is it's really a problem actually strategically. Like that is an issue. Like I feel like bands you can be like they sound like this band meets this band, or they all their music sounds like this. I actually think like while it can be limiting, it's pretty like liberating. But we've never, really been part of any genre or any movement. We were a 2000s indie band, but like the other
Not
hipster
really.
indie bands, but like now kind of because we're still here. I just
Well,
meant like
I feel like I feel like people who weren't around for it think we were one of those, but we were
exactly.
considered one of those at the time.
Yeah. We just stuck around and people are like, oh, they're still here? How long have they been around? Oh, they're an indie band from the 2000s. Cool. But like, like we're not pop punk. We're not indie rock. We're not this, but we've done tours with Andrew McMahon. We did a tour with
Motion City
Motion
soundtrack.
City
While we
Soundtrack.
went,
We've
yeah.
we've like
Oh, right
toured
on.
with bands in that world and it works. And fans who like music outside of that very like, genre that found us. And we've had that happen in multiple different worlds. I think ultimately we're just kind of like I think people who like music, which is a stupid thing to say, but like, we use a lot of chords, there's a lot of
Hmm.
notes, and we take some big swings and it's hard to say.
I thought Wilderness was a good pairing last year, so I saw Wilderness open for you guys last year, and that was a cool
Cool.
pairing. Yeah, and
Yeah,
then
they're awesome.
I've just happened to see them, so I've never gone out of my way. I will admit, I've never gone on my way to see Wilderness, but I saw them on a rock boat, and then I saw them open for you guys, and then I saw them open for Andrew later in the year. So I've
Cool.
just been fortunate to just happen to catch Wilderness 3 times in the past couple of years, which is cool.
We adore them. I mean, they're
Yeah.
like truly one of our favorite opening bands we've ever taken on tour. Just,
Oh,
I mean,
that's
awesome
awesome.
people, but also just an incredible band. Yeah, great live
Yeah.
show too. I love them.
Very cool.
Wilderness will forever make me think of like this perfect day. Sorry, Ben. This perfect day off on tour because Ben was very sick. But there
Oh,
was
yeah.
it was like a beautiful, unseasonably warm day in Sunday in Chicago. We had a day off. We all went to Wrigley
The
Field
worst
with
part about this story is I was there. I was there and I was having a good time.
what?
I did all of the activities with you. I just left for the last hour.
You went to the game? I have it I
Yeah,
have it in my head that
yeah, I
you were
went to the
sick as a
game.
dog.
Tell the story, but just you don't have to cut me out of your
All right,
history.
I'm sorry, Ben.
Fucking drummers
Well,
piss themselves and
Deleted.
can't tell a story straight.
we went to a Wrigley Field Cubs game with Wilderness in Chicago, and it was really fun. We had Malort, we had probably hot dogs, and Ben was also
And I
there.
was there. And we walked
No, no, no.
after
You
and we
weren't there.
all went to
You weren't.
that we all went and got tacos and then I said goodbye and you all walked down the street and ran into friends.
That's true. We love Wilderness.
Ridiculous.
Wait, maybe I missed it. Was Wilderness there? Is that how this?
Yeah,
They
Yes.
they were there. Okay.
we had a we just had a very memorable day off on the road. with them.
Okay.
It was like a beautiful Sunday in Chicago. Sorry, Ben.
It's not
The
that
band.
memorable if you can't remember who was there, but
That's
great,
true. That's a
cool.
good point. Well, I remember Wilderness being there,
Yeah,
and they were a lot of
Wilderness were
fun.
there. Clearly, they were more fun than I was that day. So
They're very memorable. All right. So I know that in terms of the songwriting in this band, like from what I've known, from what I've listened to on the podcast, what I know from kind of reading things, primarily Ben and Tommy, you guys each write songs, then kind of come to the table with it. And you alluded to this earlier, Tommy, that you guys bring your each of your own styles, the three of you, to the band. But how does that work? I know. So I'm going to kind of make a comparison real quick here. So in something corporate, I know that Andrew McMahon and Josh Partington were the primary songwriters, and they would each write their own songs separately, but then come into the studio or their space and then kind of put things together. Is that kind of how it works for you guys, or can you talk me through that process?
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty close. I mean, it just for us, I think it depends somewhat on the song. Like sometimes one of us will come in with a song that's like really fully fleshed out, and it's essentially like just everyone else trying to beat the parts that are already there and maybe massage it into something that's perfect for the band. But yeah, I mean, or other times we like hack something to pieces. But yeah, fundamentally, it's generally one of us bringing an idea that's pretty formed to the
Mm-hmm.
band.
Very cool. I told my daughters that you three were going to be on the podcast, and they know some of your songs pretty well because some of your songs have made it on family playlists, like Million Dollar Bills in recent years, Fred Astaire, Jump Started are all on some of our family playlists. And so this is a question for my 13-year-old. I hope you don't mind.
great.
She wants to know if you guys prefer to write the more playful songs or more serious songs, because you guys have some of both.
That's an interestingly phrased question because it's not like I prefer one over the other. If I can write a fun song, it's harder to write a fun song. Let's say
Okay.
that.
All right.
It's harder to write a good, upbeat pop song. I think that's the hardest thing to do. I could write you a tearjerker ballad every day of the week. When a song like Fred Astaire or Colorful or one of those like comes around or Million Dollar Bills like comes around and it works, that's like the most exciting. They're just hard.
Yeah.
I find them hard. It's hard to get them right.
We've watched, I think, all of your music videos at this point, my daughters and I, and you guys have some fun music videos. I'm sure you know it. So it's been a
Thanks.
lot of fun to watch them. So we watched a lot of them during the pandemic, and then as the Cheers ones rolled out, we watched all of those. Do you guys have any fun memories of making music videos?
The ones that stick out to me are the paint pour over my head and Everybody's Lonely because you only got one shot at that. Was disgusting great. Having the dancers in Coney Island for the song Somebody
I love that
was
one.
ridiculous, and you kept just getting like crazy people with grocery carts like walking through the middle of the shoot. And we'd have to start the whole thing over. And then Tommy, you should talk about Half Crazy.
We know, not even half crazy. What I was just thinking about, just Andrew McMahon related, is the most peaceful, wonderful day I've ever had on a music video set was for Wasted, because Andrew and Ben were filming a lot, like until like the early afternoon, but we got there at the crack of dawn. So I just went birding because we were at like this beautiful California foothills, chaparral brush kind of environment, and yeah, I was just like birding for hours and came into the shoot like feeling really refreshed, and everyone was really tired.
I mean, that's a good memory from a music video shoot. That's
Oh,
perfect.
it's a beautiful location. It's like near
It
the
was.
Magic Mountain Wilderness in California. Amazing.
Okay. Yeah, that was a beautifully shot video. And that one was a little bit different than something like the Coney Island shoot for Somebody, and the paint one you mentioned, and then Million Dollar Bills, obviously. I think, Tommy, you had a bit part in that one, but that was probably made during the pandemic, right? I have to assume.
It was part of it, and Tommy was like, he was just in California, and he couldn't get out for it, and so we were like, how do we get this guy? How do we get Tommy in the video?
I like that. That was creative though. Like
Yeah.
he was the reporter on the news, I think. If I
Yeah,
remember
that
correctly.
that was fun.
No, the
Oh
green
yeah.
screens of that of him just being like being angry, it was really fun.
Yeah.
I should find that behind the scenes footage.
Your music videos are very memorable, and my whole family has enjoyed those. So let's talk just a little bit about touring before we jump into the cruise and stuff. So first off, again, I love the podcast. It's so much fun to listen to you guys together. I've listened to every single episode, but I especially like the Dan Romer episode. That was a lot of fun. Your friend Shervin, that one was fun. Like, it's just, again, it sounds like a bunch of people in a room just having a good time with each other, and I really appreciate that.
Thanks.
But I'd recommend anybody who likes music podcasts to listen to that. I almost listen exclusively to music related podcasts. Just I don't play music myself at all, but I just like listening to people talk about music, and I like talking about music myself. So
I feel like our podcast. I don't know if you're building to a question, so apologies for the interruption. But our podcast is like what it's actually like sitting in the van with the three of us after we've all had coffee. And if that sounds fun to you, then that's what it is. It's just three guys just telling stories and forgetting that their friend Ben went to the baseball game with them and had a memorable day.
I mean, that 30 seconds is your next commercial for Famish, by the way, right there.
There we go.
What you just
There we
said.
go.
Perfect. So in your podcast, though, you guys have a segment called Tour Stories, and thank you for the shout out in the theme song for Ohio, because I'm living in Ohio, and I love that you reference Ohio. But anyway, do you guys have any like tour stories you want to share? Like something, maybe it's with Jack's Mannequin. Maybe I know that was a long time ago, so it's okay if it's not. But just something memorable. You've already shared the beautiful day in Chicago without Ben, but allegedly.
Any day without Ben is a beautiful day, my friend.
Thanks, Jess. Back
I
at
have
you, buddy.
I have one Jack's Mannequin tour memory, which is
Okay.
we had a lot of fun. Particularly the last show was at the 930 Club, I think. And so there's a bar downstairs at the 930 Club. And so we were all hanging out after the show. And I had a bit on that tour where I would walk up to somebody random at a bar and point at them and then just say a sign of the zodiac. Like just say like Taurus. And most of the time you're wrong. Like 90% of the time you're wrong. But 10% of the time when you do it, you get it right. And then they think you're a wizard. And I remember at the 930 Club that I walked up to somebody, a stranger, just was like Capricorn or whatever it was, and it was right, and they couldn't get over it. They couldn't get over it. It was a huge thing. So anyway, I remember that interaction with hanging out with Jack's Mannequin that night.
Like they just wanted to talk. That person just wanted to talk to you then and find out what else you knew, and like what you could tell them about their future or something.
Yeah, they were like, well, tell me about my aura. What am I putting out into the world? Like, what's my future? I was like, I don't know. You just exhibit the telltale signs of whatever the zodiac.
Tom is a master bullshitter in those moments. It's a real thrill to watch.
It sounds like it, but hey, that's a good skill to have in some environments. So,
Do
especially
you guys have
when
an
you're just
actually
out having
interesting
fun.
tour story? That's the best I could come up with.
I like the amateur astrologist one. I think that's
Okay, great.
Astronomer.
astronomer.
Yeah,
That's
it's science,
astronomy
man.
right there.
Come on.
Yeah.
Astrologer or astronomer?
I was just being an
Astrologer.
asshole.
Scientist or Scientologist? What's the difference?
Yeah, they're all the same, right?
We haven't told this one in a while, and it's actually like it's kind of it has like a happy ending. It's a short one. One of our early tour vehicles, I think it was the minivan, the Pontiac Montana. It had a broken gas meter, and we finally ran out of gas. We usually like kind of just took tabs of like
Well, no,
when we
so to
yeah.
clarify, there was that little like LED thing that said how many miles you had left in the tank. So
Sure.
this is arbitrary. You have 80 miles left, whatever that means. And every time we filled up, we would just reset that meter, and that became our gas tank. That's just how I figured it out. Take it away,
Okay.
Jesse.
Yes. Yep. And then anyway, it finally happened. We were on the highway and we started, the van. It was somehow clear that that's the only time we've ever run out of gas, but we could tell that we were running out. And we get over to the slow lane, to the right lane, to take the exit, and we're like losing our power steering. We're out of gas. We're running on fumes,
Wow.
and we happen to make it. And there's like cars, but now like
Engine is
behind
off.
us.
Nothing is happening in the car. It's done.
Nothing's
Just
really
rolling,
happening,
just
but
rolling.
we're
It's just
rolling, and we happen to roll off the exit ramp, like around a corner, and then down just a slight downhill through three green lights, and then just we like made a little left right into a Wawa, right into a gas station, like perfect. Just pulled up, like a movie.
So the momentum of the hill and the fact that you hit the green lights on the lights at the right time got you to the gas station.
I think so. I mean, if
Yeah.
they were red, we
No, no, no.
probably would have.
We would have braked and not like, killed anybody.
Right, you would have stopped, and then you would have
Like
been
the
stranded.
brakes
And
still worked.
yeah,
It felt like a miracle, but I think the scale of the
Yeah.
miracle is just the result of like at that point in our touring career, a having a tow truck take us 3 blocks would have been like a really big deal financially. So
yeah, I
Yeah.
could see that. No, I could see
yeah,
that. So
Or we could have brought gas back to the car, but Tommy
you
isn't
could have
in
done
charge of vehicle stuff, so that makes sense.
I can't fit that much gas in my mouth, so it's
yeah,
taking a while.
yeah. I mean, what are you gonna do?
He always follows it.
I know we've talked a lot about the touring and the shows, but what can we expect when we get to a jukebox show on the boat? So what kind of things should we expect to see? Maybe not specific songs, but like what kind of thing for someone who hasn't seen a Jukebox the Ghost show should I expect?
The lack of a bass player.
No
Yep.
basis.
That's real interesting stuff.
A lot of piano. You're gonna get a lot of piano.
A lot of piano.
Probably, you may even get a little guitar.
Ooh, guitar.
True.
We'll probably do a cover of some sort. Maybe we'll do a Queen. Maybe we'll do
Okay.
something else saucy. The only time I've run off stage in the middle of a set to go to the bathroom was on a cruise, so that could happen again.
Was that the Rock Boat
I
2016?
think that was the Rock Boat. I think it may have been.
I would never do that.
Jesse just did that for the first time on this last tour.
Yeah.
People come up to me and are like, "Hey, I was at that show where you had to pee. That was funny." I'm like, "Okay, cool."
All right, so I'm hearing no bass, piano, guitar, definitely guitars, definitely drums, and someone running off the stage to go to the bathroom
Yeah,
at some
yeah, yeah.
point.
You're only ever going to see two of us at any given time. We stay very hydrated on cruises. No, it's going to be a party. Like, I
Yeah.
think these sets are 45, 50 minutes, and so we're going to pack them in. End of the day, like, we are there also to make new fans. So, and we're a little competitive, so we're going to be like, you bet your ass, we're going to put on as good show as we possibly can and hope people remember it.
Oh,
Come
you
back
g-
fans.
You guys already do. I've seen it, so definitely worth coming back for. You guys did play the Rock Boat in 2016. I've been in a couple of them, as I said. I went on 2021 when Andrew Grand of Wilderness was on. Then I went on the 2023 version, and I'm booked on the next one. But what was that experience like for you guys, besides having to use the bathroom in the middle of a set? But what was that like for you overall? It must have been good enough to want to come back, right?
Yeah, it's a party. I mean, it's like you're just hanging out with a bunch of musicians and you play a couple shows, but you don't have to travel for them. You get some sunshine. You get to, make some new friends. It's great. I don't know. We always have a good time.
And we tend to have like a random a random assortment of friends for that year who I guess their schedule is free enough that they will come with us. Maybe I'm giving this away, but there's only
Don't give
three
it
of
away.
us.
Just say they're coming. You don't need the logistics. Your friends are
We
coming.
don't need the logistics, but usually we can get an extra room or so, and then it might be a crew member from that year. And then they might have a partner. So anyway, like every year, it's like we have these memories with these random friends that come with us.
We did a cruise like 2 years ago, and Jesse stepped on a sea urchin.
That was really
Yeah.
special.
That was
Yeah.
cool.
That's not a
So
good
we
memory.
got to see the infirmary. It's pretty rad.
Oh my gosh. What did you guys learn about yourselves, like on these cruises, about yourselves or about how to prepare for cruises now? So you have some experience here. So you guys are veterans of this thing, unlike maybe some of the artists that are coming.
Don't step on sea urchins.
Yeah, don't do it.
Like that's
Don't
what
do
I
it.
keep saying.
You're
to
gonna
Jesse.
want to do it. Don't do it.
You're gonna want to. They look fun. They're not. Those spikes are real.
And you do have to
Jesse
pace.
can't even-
Right? No, it's true. It's
This
true,
is
you
right.
do.
What you're saying is right,
Yeah,
Jess. Do
you
it.
have to pace yourself. You got to obviously you have to hydrate.
Mm-hmm.
The temptation might be to get a bucket of beer, but then you realize that your friends are as old as you are, and maybe they don't want to drink it. And you do have to pace yourself on these things because they're designed to have fun all day, every day,
Yeah.
and
All night,
and
too.
you have to perform, and you have to perform well. So I would say get the bucket of beer, but make sure you have some friends around who are going to help you with it. Then, Tommy,
I would just say clock when the crepe station is open because it's not
Mm.
always open and it's not always open when you want it.
Pro
And if
tips.
you see it, you act. You stop everything. You say, Andrew, I know you're doing charity, but I got to get a crepe.
There are funny little. I do feel like from doing multiple cruises, there are funny little things that you learn. Like you're like, oh, if there's a sushi restaurant, sit down sushi restaurant on the boat, go in the first couple days because the last day is going to be all smoked salmon rolls,
Huh.
Or there was an. I mean, to me, the big hack that some people don't think to do is if you get motion sick, take them before you leave. Just
Mm.
start a steady drip of them before
Yeah.
that, and then you're good. Because I get motion sick real easy. I've never had a problem, but it's thanks to the powers of bonine, the drug is called.
Also, book your excursions early because they get full, and then you'll get stuck on the step on a sea urchin adventure, which is as fun as it sounds.
That doesn't sound fun at all. I'm gonna stay away from that one. I'm not
Yeah,
signing
do.
up. What are you guys looking forward to on this cruise? Like, besides, I know you're looking forward to performing, but like outside of your own performances, what are you looking forward to doing?
I can't help but say I'm excited about the step on a sea urchin excursion.
Yeah, for
It
sure, for
sounds
sure.
really fun this year. Well, it didn't work last year, but I think it's really fun this year.
What's funny is I
Oh,
was getting out of the water when I stepped on it. I was leaving the ocean
yeah.
and I pushed off on like against a rock with my foot. So it got me on my way out.
So they get you.
Yep, yep. We're excited to see the other bands.
For sure.
So seeing the other artists is going to be great.
Hmm.
I mean, the excursions I think are I'm always excited to like leave the boat and then usually by the end of the excursion day, somehow I'm like, get me back on this friggin' boat. I don't know what they're putting in the water, but
Parasites.
parasites, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, drink bottled water.
Oh, the
Not on the
casino?
cruise. The cruise water is fine. I just mean like at the excursions.
We tend to hit the casino a little bit,
We
even
Okay.
might the
though
casino.
Might find you there. Okay.
That can't be an honest casino. Is that an honest casino? There's no way.
I'm gonna go to the casino.
No,
I'll
no, I
play a
mean like
little.
are they bound by the laws of US
I mean,
casinos?
allegedly.
I always feel a little dubious. The real answer is the other bands. Like
Mhm.
I haven't seen aside from Wilderness and Andrew. I don't know if I've seen anyone live that's there.
Oh,
So I'm gonna be checking out a lot of new music,
okay.
or a lot of new bands that I'm seeing live for the first time.
We're gonna have Andrew Band of the Wilderness, Jack's Mannequin, Something Corporate, The Academy is, Mr. Wives, Rustin Kelly, Cartel, Augustana, Wilderness, Hunter DeBlanc, Bob Oxblood, you mentioned earlier, Bobby, Zach Clark, and Bike Lock, which is Bobby's other band with Mikey and Jay. A lot of exciting acts to see. Hopefully, we'll see you guys at some of those shows then. I'm going to try to be hitting as many as possible, but kind of my advice for all new cruisers that try to go on these things is you just can't do it all. You're not going to see every one of those artists every single time. You're going to try to see Jukebox the Ghost 3 times, I know, but
But otherwise, it doesn't matter. Just see what
but
you see.
everything else is yeah. What's kind of your vibe on music cruises, guys? Like, are you more in chill mode when you're not playing, or are you like, is it kind of work mode, or what is that for you?
I don't think we're on work mode. So, but as far as like we, I think all will recover in our rooms,
Hmm.
but right, if that's what you mean, like, but
Yeah.
then we will all be sure that we are experiencing music.
Hmm.
It's almost like when we've played South by Southwest, I've had years, and I'm ashamed to admit this, I've had years where we played South by and I don't think I saw any other music. I was just too into the idea of resting. And I think we have this nice balance now
Hmm.
where we know when to recover, know when to take a nap, power nap or whatever, and then hit the other shows. We don't work too hard.
I mean, there's a beach party if we get off at Great Stirrup K, and there's a flip cup competition and beer pong, and there's all these other things. There's karaoke at night. There's silent disco. I don't know if you guys are late night people, but I'm not usually, but I'm gonna try to be on this cruise. I don't know when I'm gonna sleep, but I'll
I
try to
think we
figure it
have
out.
to be one of the nights. I think one of the shows is a late night show. So
You are right because my
Oh
wife saw it
yeah,
on the schedule and she's like, "Oh my gosh, they start at 12:30. How am I gonna do
we
this?"
start at 12:30.
yeah, can you believe that?
How are we
No,
gonna do this,
On the
Ben?
on the pool deck.
you're joking.
No, I'm not joking. I thought
What night?
I don't know.
I'm on baby schedule. I'm in bed at 10:15.
Yeah, baby one
Tommy's
did.
smiling because for him it's only gonna be 9:30, right?
Oh,
Well, I'm coming from Toronto.
I was back in Toronto.
That's right.
You're
Yeah,
right that normally he's in LA.
Yeah, yeah,
that's
you're
right.
right. That would
Okay.
be to my advantage.
Man, cruise schedule. I'm looking up.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pumped. I mean, I think for us, cruises like are not work. Like
Hmm.
they are technically work, but like
Hmm.
they make it so easy for the bands in such a wonderful way. Like
Hmm.
the gear's just there, like at each stage, exactly what you need. It's just so much less of the schlepping around that you would do for a normal gig, and it's a lot of fun. And because it's the same crowd on the boat, you don't have that kind of like you know that people
Guys,
are okay with
it's 11:30. It's 11:30 to
Oh, okay.
12:45.
It's a
That's
little
still
off. Sorry
brutal,
about
but
that.
we can do it.
Yeah.
that.
I know you'll do it. I know you guys will do a fantastic job. So sorry I was a little off on the time.
No, that's great.
We'll find the espresso machine. We always find the espresso machine.
All right, we got this. I'm learning so much. This is awesome.
I truly hope that it feels like summer camp for you guys for 4 days, getting to hang out with all these artists and fans and having a good time. I truly do.
It will.
I got a couple of rapid fire questions, one for each of you, if you guys don't mind. Is that cool?
Yeah.
So for each of you, what is it doesn't have to be your top song. I don't ask people to pick their favorites, just like one Andrew song that speaks to you.
This is I'm excited to see if you see Jordan.
Okay.
Because that was the first introduction to him from way back in the day when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they play it. I don't know what the vibe is, but like never seen it. And I'm kind of excited to sneak that in if I can on this cruise.
They played it on the recent tour. Hopefully we'll see it then too.
Let's go.
Nice. That was my pick as well because I grew up very much in the pop punk world.
Mm-hmm.
And that song is, I revisited some of Andrew's music ahead of this. And I listened to that song for the first time in a bit, and it's just so freaking good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to also say La La Lie by Jax.
Yeah,
I really
good
like
one.
that. Oh, yeah.
It's a fun live one too.
This might be like a really dumb, obvious answer, but I was actually reminded, like, just thinking about Jack's Mannequin's catalog again, that I was like, oh yeah, I love the song "Holiday from Real."
Mm-hmm.
It's a great
yeah.
song. I don't know why I didn't connect the dots, but I don't know. This is gonna be great. It'll be like it's like hearing the Star Wars theme at Star Wars Land.
And if they can't not play that song, right?
Yeah.
It's like the theme song, like you said. So
Oh, that'd be so screwed up if they didn't play
Yeah.
it. It's so rude.
people would be wondering a little bit. Question for each of you guys, specific question for each of you. So Ben, Andrew used to set his piano on fire way back in the Something Corporate days. Now he's kind of known for jumping off the piano. Is that cool or is that not cool? Like you're a piano player, you take your piano playing very seriously.
It's cool when he does it. It wouldn't be cool if I did it. I would look stupid. He's got a good jump,
Yeah.
I remember when we did the Wasted music video, he stood up on the table, and I was like, that's a guy who knows how to stand on something that's about 3.5 to 4 feet of height.
And hopefully I really hope, I know it was off screen because I didn't see this in the video, but I hope he jumped off at some point like he does his piano. So he can
It was
demonstrate
like he would not. It was like in a field, and he would have rolled an ankle.
Oh yeah, don't do that. Yeah, we're getting older. We can't
Yeah.
take those risks anymore. Tommy, if so, you have a diverse array of the music that you like. So if you could pick a band or a singer, doesn't have to be on this cruise, could be anybody in the world, to cover one of the songs that you wrote. What's one artist that you would like to hear cover your song?
Oh, to cover us. Oh my gosh. Surely I have an answer to this question. I'd kind of like to hear somebody really weird interpret one of our songs and just
King Gizzard? What about King Gizzard, Tommy?
yeah, like
they would never.
they wouldn't, but so that's
They
why
wouldn't.
I would.
Right,
I
this is a
would-
dream, right?
Yeah, I'd want. I mean, like Deerhoof. What would they do to a Jukebox the Ghost song? It would just be cool to see your own music be put through a blender,
Okay.
rather than like a direct cover.
So you'd appreciate one of those covers that maybe doesn't sound much like the original, but kind of takes it and makes it their own, right?
Totally. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Very good. I like it. So Jesse, similar question. Jukebox the Ghost is let's pretend they're taking the summer off and you have time. One of your favorite artists calls you and says, "We need a drummer to fill in." Who is it?
Blondie, let's go.
Blondie. Okay.
Yeah. Give me a call, Debbie.
All
I'm
right.
here.
Debbie Harry.
Clem,
All right.
Clem Burke, he's getting old. He's still a beast, but I think I could do it.
But he might need a fill in at times. So.
You know what? The rest of the Ramones are no longer with us, but the drummer Marky Ramone still plays. So
Mhm.
I'd fill in for him, whatever the hell he's up to.
Okay. So Ramones fan too. That makes sense with the pop punk. Hey guys, I really appreciate your time tonight. I've had so much fun talking to you, and this is kind of a dream, honestly, to be able to talk to the three of you right up leading to the cruise. I'm gonna get to see you guys a couple times, maybe 3 times in concert next week from right now, and it was so cool to sit down with you. So thank you so much. My wife, as I said, is a big fan as well. My kids are fans. They listen to your music as well. So we're kind of a Jukebox the Ghost family.
Well, thanks.
I would suggest anybody listening, go out to jukeboxtheghost.com, look at their tour dates, find them on Instagram. Definitely, if you're coming on the cruise, you got to go see their set, obviously, and listen to their latest EP featuring some of the songs I've mentioned, Truth, I Feel So Good, but also Friends Again, Save a Little Room, and Automatic. I actually love all of the new songs. It's like a perfect collection of music right now. So, but hey, if you want to go see a jukebox set and be prepared, sounds like you've got to go back deep in the catalog as well. So listen to some of those older albums to get prepared. Final question for you guys, and it can be like a one-shot deal, however you guys want to do it. Is there one song that if I'm new to Jukebox the Ghost, I should go listen to right now to get ready for this cruise?
First of all, yes, you should listen to every song we've ever made just in case we play it.
Just in case.
I think that's just doing your homework.
Yeah.
What is the song, guys? What is the song?
Jump Started.
Jumpstart. I would say Jump Started as well. That's usually my go-to.
Okay.
Or Hollywood.
I would go Hollywood.
We will be
That would
playing
my
both of
answer.
those songs probably at every show. At least 2 out of the 3.
Okay. Hollywood and Jump Started. You heard it from the guys themselves. So, well, thank you guys again so much. I truly appreciate your time tonight.
Pleasure. Thanks for having us on. This has been great.
Yeah, it was fun, guys.
Also, I've been texting with Andrew during this podcast. I'm sorry that my attention was slightly split, but I thought it was good. And it looks like we're going to try to make something happen. We're both of us, we're talking to our management, and they're going to coordinate when it's going to happen. So,
oh my gosh,
there you go.
Making dreams come true here, right on the podcast.
This is perfect too, because the last time we played Wasted, Ben, you forgot the lyrics, so he can come in and
he'll get that verse. It's perfect.
He'll get that verse.
Yeah, I actually asked my friend who saw you guys on the East Coast last year, and she said you guys did play Wasted. And I said, so did Ben sing both verses? She's like, of course he sang both verses. And I was like, okay, I don't know, maybe Tommy sang the other one. I don't know. All right. Well, I can't wait to see you guys on the boat. We're looking forward to it. You guys have a wonderful night. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Steve.
You too, Steve. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Steve.
See you on the boat.
Thanks. See you in a few days. Take care.